Hi, this is Ben Gassier, and I'm going to show you how to assemble these boxes for collectible card games. I call these glueless boxes because once you've cut all the parts with your laser cutter, you don't actually require any hardware or glue to assemble them. The parts slot together and they're held together in place underneath with these little clips. My kids have been toting these boxes around for the past several months. They bring them to school, they bring them to friends' houses, and the boxes have actually held up really well, even though there's no glue or hardware. You can find the designs for these boxes on my Etsy store. I'll put the links in the show notes, but you can also look for Level Infinity on Etsy, and you should be able to find my shop. Before we start assembling one, let's look at some of the features of these boxes. So the designs include everything you need to make any of these boxes, from the one-row box, which holds all my Star Realms cards, divided by expansions, a two-row box, which is currently empty, a three-row box that my kids are using for Magic, a 4, a 5, all the way up to a 6-row box, which is pretty full of these Magic cards as well. Each row holds about 700 different cards. Those are unsleeved cards. If you use dividers, you'll have a bit less per row. It does have room for sleeved cards as well. These are sleeved cards right here. Sleeves. It's also big enough for card boxes as well that come with the Magic game. So you could keep your collections in boxes inside of this bigger box. The rows can be divided with these separators, so the designs include these separators. You can actually etch onto the separators some symbols or some words so you can know exactly what's in each little section. These are green creatures that my kids etched on here. You can decorate the boxes in many different ways as well. So this dragon, he was engraved directly onto the surface of the MDF. These gears, Star Realms, Ixalan, those were done with wood veneers that were pasted on. I have another box lid here for Innistrad. These are foam stickers that I got at Walmart that I laser cut and then stuck them on. The 6 box has some lines that are scored on, so it didn't take very long to do, and then some inlaid wood decorations. So the possibilities are pretty endless. You can decorate the sides as well, so it's easy to find a certain box when they're on your shelves. The designs come with this dragon and these gears. The dragon and the gears, the patterns I found on allsilhouette.com. I did resize them and make them fit exactly on these boxes, so you'll find the patterns for those with the designs. I do not include the Star Realms or any of the Magic the Gathering images, simply because I don't own the rights to them. I'm planning to make another video that will show you how to easily take an image you have or that you find on the web and convert it so that you can use it with your laser cutter. So you'll be able to decorate your boxes however you want. If you have a carabiner or a lock, there's a little hole here in the lid that will actually lock on if you put the carabiner. So you can actually lock these boxes so that when you're transporting them, the lids don't slide out of place. They also stack very well. So at the bottom there's these little grooves, and on top there's these little grooves as well and ridges. And they actually just fit one on top of the other. And once they're in place, properly in place, they kind of lock together. So if I move the top one, it's also moving the bottom one. If I pick up the top one, I can kind of move it around a lot. As long as your lid is locked, it's not going to move. So when you're transporting these, you don't have to worry about the top one sliding off the bottom one. And they can all stack up so you can make a big stack of boxes. All right, so now that we've seen the features of these boxes, let's put one together. All right, I've laid out all the parts you need to build a 3-row box. We have the sides. We have one that's short and one that has a little slot for the lid. Each side and fronts are actually made up of 2 layers of MDF or material. So you should have 2 of these combed sides as well. There's a front and a back, so you'll need parts for both the front and the back, so there should be 2 of each of these parts. These are the separators between the rows. Depending on how many rows you selected for your box, you might have a different number of these. If you have a 1-row box, you have no separators. This is the bottom, this is the top. These are the separators for the cards, and these are the clips that hold everything in place. Depending which row, how many rows you've selected, your front and your back may be longer or shorter than what's shown here. All right, let's get started. So we're going to take one of these front pieces, the ones with no slots, and one with slots. So we're going to put them together. And we're going to face the bottom of the box towards the camera. So the bottom is where all these little slots are, where these clips are going to come in place to hold things together. I'm also going to flip this so that the little lid slot is facing me, just so I know. I'm then going to take these separators, 2 at a time, and slot them into these little holes. You want to make sure that the comb of these separators are facing upwards, away from the bottom of the box. So again, you put 2 together, and you just kind of slot them into this little hole there. And then kind of lean them until they hold their own weight. You then take the other front or back with the little lid slot, and you want to make sure you're putting it on the same side as this one. So you don't want to flip it so that there's one on this side and one on this side. You want to make sure that both of these slots are facing towards you or away from you. So put it in, put this guy in, and it should hold its own weight. And you'll take your other front back piece and put it on top like this. Then you're going to slide the whole thing over so that these little slots are over the edge of a table. You're going to take your short side piece, not the one with the slot for the lid, this one here, and you're just going to slot it into these 2 slots right here. Go. And that should hold things kind of in place. You can take the whole thing and kind of tilt it upwards, putting pressure on the sides so that these separators don't come out of the holes. This is a little tricky if you're doing a 6-row box. You might want help from someone else, although I've done all the ones I put together by myself. So you're then going to take the side with the slot, and you're going to slot it in over here. There we go. So that's pretty much holding everything in place at this point. You're then going to take your 2 sides with kind of combs and put it on the inside of each of these sides. And these are going to be a little bit more snug. This one's going to be a bit more snug as well. And we're almost done. We're going to take the bottom part and we're going to put it in place over top. Oops, this way. And it should just kind of fall in place. Then you're going to take your clips and you're going to put them in. Now you don't put them in straight on. What you do is you kind of put them in at an angle, kind of push on this edge a bit, and then they just kind of clip in place. Once they're in place, they don't come back out. Unless you actually push them kind of together. So put all your clips in, You shouldn't need to use force to put these in. If you do use force, you're probably going to break them. So again, at an angle, put them in. And there we go. Our box is now all locked together. There's the pieces all hold together because of the slots and because of the design. You can then put these separators where you want them. And then you slide your lid in where these little slidey slots are. And that's going to hold this little part here. And there we go. We have a nice new shiny card box that we can use for any of our card games. Well, that's pretty much it. We now have a nice new box for our card games. If you like this video and you want me to make some more, you can support me by buying some of my designs on Etsy or just by liking this video. If you do end up making some boxes, I'd love to see some pictures because I always like to see the things that people make with my designs. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.